Hello, I'm Vicki Parfano from Aussie Stampers. Welcome to my channel. Today is Art Journal Day and I am going to do the title page for the watercolour art journal that I showed you how to make in a couple of previous videos. Now, if you haven't seen this watercolour journal before, there is a video on how to make and bind the journal, and there's also a video on how to make the cover. And this is the page I'm going to be working on today. You can see I've finished the cover. It's very glossy. I've used a gloss medium and it makes a 20-page watercolour art journal from 5 watercolour sheets. Now there's a 2-for-1 deal here, and I'm going to use the same sort of colours that I used when I cut out the ART letters from the front, and this is actually the negative space that was left behind when I cut out those letters. So I'm planning my page and I want some really deep contrast, so I found this really nice wood grain scrapbook paper, cut some down to size, and you can see when I put that behind it, those letters really pop. And I wanted a little frame left around it. Now I've already practiced my writing and I've learned from previous experience you need to align your letters so that they're all even and so they fit before you start writing. And I'm just going to erase those lines now. I've got a little kneadable eraser, and it can be kneaded into a lovely fine point so you can get right between the letters. But it's going to say art makes me happy, and I'm using the same coloured markers that I used to create the background. But I need to have a little background underneath. I want to cover up that bottom section of plain watercolour paper. I need some watercolour designs on there. So I'm only going to use the bottom of the page to do this because the rest is going to be covered up. Just some quick wiggly lines, then put some printer paper underneath, get your aqua brush, throw some water onto the page and start just lining up each of those colours, or doing a line of each of those colours and wiping it off between. And I think I'll use the paper towel now. Yes, get some folded up paper towel to do that, so that the colours don't contaminate each other. You can see how quick this is. It's just really simple. And then you'll need to let that dry. So I'm going to get my heat tool, and once I'm happy with it, I'm going to dry it all out. So if you didn't have a heat tool, you could just leave it to dry. You could try a hairdryer, but I find that heat tools are actually much quicker and easier. So here's that background piece. I'm going to use my golden medium, and I'm using a gloss medium, so I don't really want these pages to look glossy. I'm only going to use the medium where it's not going to show. So I'm going to paint the whole blank section at the top, and I'm going to steer clear of where I've coloured it because I don't want to reactivate those inks. And I'm going to put this wood grain piece of scrapbook paper over the top. And because I want it to look like a frame, I think I might do some mitered corners. I'm just going to bring in a black Sharpie and do some diagonal lines from each of the corners, and this is going to help make it look like an actual frame. Yes, that looks good. So I'm happy with that, and I'm going to take out that scratch paper and I'm going to paint the back of the piece with gel medium, line it up and get it centered. And you can see how the background is blending in with the rest of the page because I've used the same colours. Now blot it with a paper towel, and I've saved those little pieces on the inside. I'm just going to put the middle piece on the letter R and the middle piece on the letter A. So it's good to save these pieces so you can use them later. So that was really a 2-for-1 deal where I could use the same piece of background paper for my cover and my title page. So that was really good. I was happy with that. Clean off your brush right away. That's a really good tip. Put it in some water, give it a bit of a wash, leave it sitting there in the water until you're ready to deal with it later. But don't let the medium dry on the brush. Now I'm picking out the darker colour, which is the blue, and I'm just going to outline where I wrote the letters, makes me happy. Now I'm going to bring in an extra thickness on each of the letters. So sort of a diagonal line and then colour it in so that the letters look a bit thicker. And I've bounced the letters so that they are up, down, up, down, up, down, because I think that just helps make it look a little bit neater and they don't all have to look perfect that way. And you can see I'm thickening some of those downward lines, and it looks quite, I think it looks quite oriental, or just looks really interesting. Art makes me happy, and indeed it does. I loved making this project. So here's the finished project. And if you enjoyed this project, don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, leave me a comment, and share this with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.